Okay, everyone, thank you so much for joining this webinar. This is all about the listen, then speak speaking question on the Duolingo English test. In my opinion, this is one of the hardest on the test, simply because you've got to do two things. You've got to listen to the question and then speak about it for up to 90 seconds. What makes this question difficult is that you will never see it written down. The question is only given to you through speaking. So you have to listen, understand it, remember it, and then, of course, speak about it, which is challenging. A lot of students get stuck on the first part, listening. So that's what we'll cover first in this lesson. We'll cover some listening tips to help you overcome these difficulties. So, in my opinion, listeners speak is so difficult, like I mentioned, that you have to listen, understand, and then speak your answer for up to 90 seconds. So, a lot of students struggle with some elements of that. How about you? So, why is listen and speak one of the hardest questions on the DET for you? Just write a number in the chat, number 1, 2, 3, or 4. 1, you can't understand the question. Number 2, you can't remember the question when you're speaking. Some of the questions are long, so it's difficult. Number 3, I can't think of anything to say. Or if you're awesome, put number 4. It's not difficult for you. Write your numbers. So 3 seems to be the big one. 3, 3. Someone wrote number 1. Lots of number 1s and 3s. So not understanding the question. And then, obviously, if you don't understand it, it's going to be difficult to speak about. I have met hundreds of test takers who do the Duolingo test, and most people either struggle with number 1 or number 3. Number 1, they can't really understand the question properly, so that struggles. But then number 3, even if they do understand it, they find it very difficult to speak for quite a long time. They have some sort of mental block, which kind of prevents them from speaking fluently. They'll end up doing lots of ums and ahs in their answer, which will hurt your fluency score. So that's difficult. But don't worry. So in today's lesson, we're going to focus on how to understand the question, even if it's difficult, how you can understand it, some kind of tips. Number 3, and then we're going to focus on some idea generation. And lastly, some tips on how you can speak for longer using some simple tips that lots of teachers use. Before I was a Duolingo test teacher, I was an IELTS teacher, and it's the same for the IELTS. A lot of the same issues. Okay, well, let's get started. I will give you lots of time to ask questions, but so if you want to write them in the chat at any time, go for it. And then at certain points in this lesson, I'll pause, go through the chat and go through the questions with you. Okay, so part 1, understanding the question. So how this lesson is going to help you. I'm going to show you how to handle the question, even if you don't understand it. If you're able to understand it, that's obviously amazing. That's the best thing that's the best thing you can hope for. But if you are not able to understand it, I'm going to go through some tips on how you can overcome that. Then I'm going to help you with how to generate good ideas quickly. For this question type, your preparation time is only 20 seconds. So not much time to prepare. So you need to be able to think of ideas rapidly, good ideas quickly. A lot of students overcomplicate this, so I'll give you some tips for that. And then lastly, I will go over some strategies to help you speak confidently for the full 90 seconds using simple ideas. It's not difficult. It's just a change in your mindset of how to answer this type of English proficiency exam speaking question. These strategies will work for the Duolingo test, the IELTS, and also the TOEFL. They're very similar. Okay, so part 1, understanding the question. Oh, backwards. So on the Duolingo test, it looks like this, the listen then speak question. You have to Listen to the question 3 times and speak about it without seeing it written down. Oh, sorry. Here's a sample just for you to get an idea.
Talk about environmental pollution in the place where you live. What causes it? And what are the effects? How can it be controlled?
Okay, so that is a sample question. Were you able to hear that okay? Everyone, if you write yes in the chat to let me know. I understand it might be a little bit quieter than my microphone, but good. I'm happy you were able to hear it. If you didn't understand it's different, just was the volume loud enough, basically. On this PDF I will upload after this lesson, you can find the link. That question type came from the official Duolingo test website, as you can see here. So official, a real question. It was about quite a difficult topic, and the question had 3 parts. We'll look at exactly what was in the question in a bit. Just want to show you that as an example. Okay, so I'll play it again. I've played it once already. I'll play it 2 more times. What I want you to do is write as many words down as you can in the chat. Try to dictate it. I want to see if you're able to do that. So there are 24 words in this question, so quite a lot. So take your time. I'll play it 2 more times. You listen and type out what you hear. See if you can answer 20, see if you can get 24 words written down. Okay, let's try again.
Talk about environmental pollution in the place where you live. What causes it? And what are the effects? How can it be controlled?
Okay, that was number 1. Let's try again. Type out as much as you can.
Talk about environmental pollution in the place where you live. What causes it? And what are the effects? How can it be controlled?
Quite a long question, right? Quite difficult. Last one.
Talk about environmental pollution in the place where you live. What causes it? And what are the effects? How can it be controlled?
Okay. Type it in the chat. Let's see. I want to see how many people are able to write the whole question out. So Grace said, talk about environmental pollution in the places where you live. What causes it? What are the effects? How can it be controlled? Well done. Perfect. Hossein, have the... Oh, it's moving too much. Too many people typing. Stefan wrote, environmental pollutions in the place you live. What causes it? What are the effects? How can it be controlled? Correct. Yeah, good. I see that most of you are able to get most of the question written down. So that's good. This was quite a difficult one in terms of the listening because it's quite long. And there are 3 parts. Talk about environmental pollution. What are the causes? What are the effects? And how can it be controlled? Okay, let's see the answer. So this was the full answer. Were you correct? Give yourself a thumbs up if you were. I think people who wrote it were mostly correct. My hunch is that the people that were writing are ones that are a bit more confident, maybe have a bit higher level of listening. Anyway, this is the type of question you will get on the listen then speak question. Normally, the listen then speak questions are quite topic focused. So you're asked to talk about a specific topic like environmental pollution. For the other speaking questions, they tend to be a bit more experienced. So, for example, talk about a family vacation you went on when you were young, that type of thing. But for the listen then speak, typically they seem to be more topic based. The topic here, of course, is environmental pollution. Okay, so the people that typed out in the chat were able to understand the question almost fully, which is fantastic. However, If you were not able to, if you're watching silently and you were not able to, or if you are taking a test and a more difficult question comes up, what should you do if you are not able to understand all parts of the question? Any ideas? Write in the chat. What should you do if you can't understand the question? Yeah, so Christina wrote listen and get the keywords. Praka wrote speculate about the question. Saeed said talk about the related topic. Muhammad said listen carefully. Try to use the tone. Just someone said just skip the question. Try to understand it. Yeah, okay. So there's lots of ideas here. Some of them, in my opinion, are more what I would suggest. Lena wrote cry. Yeah, don't do that. You might feel like crying, but you can't do that. All right. So, the advice is relatively simple. Keep calm. Don't panic. So when you listen the first time and you might think, oh my God, I didn't understand anything. Don't panic. You should keep calm. You have two more times to listen, remember. You can listen up to 3 times. You should play them quite quickly because you don't have that much time to listen. I think it's only 20 seconds, maybe 25 seconds. So you haven't got long enough to like take your time. You should hit the replay button right away. But if the first one comes up and you just think, oh my God, I didn't understand anything there, you need to keep calm. And during the second and third listening, just focus on catching the topic. That's the only advice I would suggest, because if you just catch the topic, then you are able to speak about the topic in general. That's kind of the, not the perfect outcome, but if you're able to do that, you will definitely get some points. You will not get a 0 score. What you should not do is say nothing. And definitely what you should not do is just speak about a random topic. You have to try to catch the keywords of that topic. If you speak about, well, if you do nothing or you speak about a random topic, actually your score will not be certified. You'll have some type of email saying you should take the test again because either you didn't answer one of the questions or your topic, your spoken response was not related to the topic. And they think then, the Duolingo tend to think you might have memorized an answer and used that. So talking about the topic is important for getting a valid test. Also on the scoring criteria, it's there, topic relevance or task relevance. So you have to speak about the correct topic. So if you don't understand it, keep calm and focus on catching the main topic in listening 2 and 3. You can listen 3 times in total. Not the best advice. I mean, is the exam not the best thing to do? I mean, because you're in an exam, you should be trying your best to answer all parts of the question. This is more like a contingency plan if you're not able to. But what you should do is mainly is prepare. If you can listen to lots and lots of sample questions, then you'll get used to catching the whole parts of these listening questions, or at least talking about the topic. Okay, so I got 2 more for you. Move this chat box out the way. 2 more for you. I'm going to play them. What I want you to do is just to, well, you can pick one option. You can either write the topic of the questions in the chat, or you can write the full question in the chat. That's more challenging, of course, but pick one of these options. And for this one, I would like every single person in this room to do one of these 2. So if your level is lower, just think about the topic. Type that in the chat. But if your level is more advanced, then you can write out the full question. We have 56 people here, so I want to see 56 answers. Okay. This is the first one.
Describe the traffic congestion in your town or city. What are the main reasons for it and what problems does it cause? What suggestions do you have to lessen it?
Okay, I'll play it one more time.
Describe the traffic congestion in your town or city. What are the main reasons for it and what problems does it cause? What suggestions do you have to lessen it?
And last time.
Describe the traffic congestion in your town or city. What are the main reasons for it and what problems does it cause? What suggestions do you have to lessen it?
Okay. That was listening number one. I'll give you guys 1 minute to type out. Like I said, either just type the topic of the question or write the whole question in full. We will check the answers, of course. There are 57 people here, so I'd like to see 57 answers, please. I'll be your real teacher today. We'll check everyone did the work correctly. Okay, most people are, well, almost everyone is getting the topic, which is great, which I will tell you in a second. And it seems to be that a lot of people are also able to get the full question. Which is also perfect. Remember, guys, when you're chatting, change the to everyone so we can all see. Otherwise, it's just me that can see it. Okay, good. Seems like most people. Sarah wrote, I can get the traffic congestion, but she forgot the next part. That's okay. You got the topic, right? That's the main thing. Okay, now let's try number 2 and do the same thing. Either write the topic or the whole question if you can.
Talk about the quality of education in your local schools. What improvements are needed and how can they be achieved?
Okay, first listening, second time.
Talk about the quality of education in your local schools. What improvements are needed and how can they be achieved?
And the last time.
Talk about the quality of education in your local schools. What improvements are needed and how can they be achieved?
Okay, again, please write it in the chat. Okay, just checking your answers now. Quality. Okay, so some people are writing the quality of my education. That's not quite correct. It's almost correct. Okay. Okay, you got it absolutely perfect. Well done. The rest of lots of people are getting the main topic correct, which is, of course, the essential part. And then if you're able to catch every single part of the question and then remember it, which dictation helps you to listen and remember. If you can do that, then you'll be able to answer all parts of the question during your speaking, which of course is better than just the main topic, but the main topic is the essential part to catch. All right, cool. Let's go through the answers. You can check for yourself. So these were the answers. Number 1 was describe the traffic congestion in your town or city. What are the main reasons for it? And what problems does it cause? What suggestions do you have to lessen it? Quite a long question, but something that could come up. Number 2 is a bit shorter, but not necessarily easier. Talk about the quality of education in your local schools. What improvements are needed and how can they be achieved? Okay, give me a thumbs up or a yes. Did you get the topic correct, which is in red? If you got the whole sentence correct, right? Yes, yes, yes. Correct. Victoria, yes, yes, yes. Well done. Everyone seems to, yeah, everyone seems to be doing really well. Okay, excellent. Well, if you're able to catch the main topic, then that's the essential part. And then if you can catch all parts of the question, then that will give you more ideas for speaking when you come to do your answer. You have more direction with your speaking. Okay, Amber, I wrote so-so. Yeah, okay. And just to let you know, these examples would be considered difficult for this question type. There are easier ones, but I wanted to see how well you did with more difficult ones. Okay, so preparation time for at home by yourself. What you need to do is listen to as many of these questions as you can and practice just doing simple dictation like we've done today. That will help you a lot to get used to the style of question. Like this comes up on the Duolingo English test. Also, by writing it down, it enables you to kind of remember it better. So by doing that, you'll get more used of listening, remembering what you listen to. So when you actually come to speak in your answer, then you'll be better prepared. So how can you find listening questions? Well, the Duolingo test website has a practice section and you can find lots of listening questions there. If you want extra, my website, practice.detready.com has several hundreds and hundreds of these questions. You can go there too, but definitely listen and try to do dictation, writing it down. That's very beneficial for you for this. Okay. We will carry on with the lesson in 1 minute. We're going to talk about how you can generate ideas for speaking, and then, of course, how you can extend your answer and speak for the whole 90 seconds easily. But I just want to very quickly introduce you to DET Ready VIP. This is my newest program. I'm going to share my screen and show it to you now. I'm going to share. Yep. Okay. So this is what it looks like when you become a member. When you become a member of VIP, you actually get access to my whole VIP production school program, which has 3 full courses. If you look up here, 3 full courses covering all of the production school questions, like describing a photo, interactive writing, writing sample, and the speaking questions. And for example, when you go through each course, you can see the lessons. For example, how to structure your answer. See a video of me with a PDF to download. This is the same for all of the courses, plus there are bonus courses here for the other skills. These are a bit less detailed, but still effective. Also, we have discussion space where you can talk to other members of VIP, and a resources page where I will be uploading very frequently lots and lots of useful resources like this one here to help you prepare for the test. I will give this one to you guys for free as well today, since this is this topic we're focusing on. Another thing, which is in VIP is these weekly live sessions. So this one today is a free one, but I'll do a free one once a month, but twice a week, I'll be doing ones for VIP members. So for example, the one coming up this Friday is about write about the photo. And it's my strategy I use to teach my students how to write a really effective answer in just 1 minute. 3 full sentences, very easy to do. 1 minute, not long enough, but with a strategy and with some preparation, it is not that difficult to do. I'll also be doing in-depth workshops once a month, which will last 3 to 5 days on a very specific sub-score of the Duolingo English test. For example, the production score booster course starting very soon, a 3-day in-depth workshop with not as many members as today, probably only be about 20 members. So we'll have a lot of time to give feedback and chat about different elements of the production school. So that's VIP. That's all I wanted to say about that. If you want to join, you click the join button on the website, then you can join if you want to. Okay, let's get back to this lesson. Now we're going to talk about nothing there. How to generate ideas quickly. Now, this is a really important one for this speaking question, but also the speak in sample and the read then speak question type. You need to generate ideas quickly for these question types because Duolingo do not give you much time to prepare. If you compare it to the other exams like the IELTS or TOEFL, on those tests, you actually get some preparation time where you can use a pen and paper and write out some ideas to help you structure your answers and use in your answer. However, on the Duolingo English test, you are not allowed to use a pen and paper. And you only get 20 or 30 seconds for preparation. 20 seconds for read then speak and listen then speak, and you get 30 seconds preparation for the speaking sample. Not very long, which means you need to be able to generate ideas very quickly. Like I mentioned previously, I have actually spoken to hundreds of DET students about the biggest challenges they face with speaking. And can you guess what almost every student says? They say one of these three things. 1, I don't know what to say. 2, I can't speak for long enough, or I've run out of ideas. 3, I make a lot of mistakes. What about you? What's the biggest challenge you have with speaking? If it's one of these three, just write the number. If you have a different issue, write it in the chat and I'll read them out to everyone. Yeah. Okay. Ahmed wrote 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So like I said, almost everyone has the same issues when it comes to speaking on these exams. Maria wrote mentally blocked. She can't speak right away. I think that's probably down to ideas, Marie, which is similar to number 1. Uni said she gets panicked, doesn't know how to elaborate the answer. Yeah. All right. So in essence, everyone I can see in the chat has one of these 3 problems. They don't know what to say, can't speak for long enough, or they've run out of ideas. Same thing, really. And they make mistakes. All right. We're not going to focus on mistakes today. Instead, we're going to focus on number 1 and number 2. Don't know what to say, ideas, basically. Number 2, can't speak for long enough. I have some really good tips to help you with that. Okay. So what makes a great idea for the speaking questions? This is a little bit of a trick question because simply you don't have to have great ideas. You don't have to have great ideas. I want to repeat that. There's no such thing as an impressive or high scoring idea for the Duolingo test speaking. There's no such thing. A lot of people I meet, a lot of students, they think they have to answer the question with like a really complex idea. For example, when it comes to environmental pollution, the topic we looked at earlier, they might think of really complicated things like, nuclear science or something really complex. You do not need to do that. You really do not need to do that. There's no such thing as an impressive or high scoring idea. The DET is not a knowledge test. It's an English test. It's not testing your knowledge on a certain topic. It's testing your ability to speak about a topic in English. So stop making things more difficult. and keep your ideas simple. You have to, because you don't got time to prepare. You haven't got time to think about complex topics or complex ideas. You have to just keep your ideas as simple as possible, but elaborate, speak about them in detail, use examples, tell stories, anything like that to elaborate and expand and develop your ideas. But your ideas should be simple, simply because there's no time. You only have 20 seconds to prepare, 30 for the speaking sample, and then you've got to speak for 30 or 90 seconds about the topic. Not much time, so keep your ideas simple. This is also your second language. I speak Korean as my second language. I lived there for a long time, and I can tell you, I know how you feel. Speaking about some random topic quickly in a second language is very challenging, very challenging. Okay, so your ideas, they should be simple, but it can't just be simple. They have to be relevant to the topic. We mentioned this before. Task relevance is an important criteria on the Duolingo test. And relevant to the topic means you have to speak about the topic: environmental pollution, traffic congestion, or education in local schools. That's why catching the key topic is vital. That's number one, relevance, most important. Number two, your ideas should be easy to think of. And number three, easy to speak about. So let's look at some examples. Okay, we looked at this earlier. Talk about environmental pollution in the place where you live, what causes it, and what are the effects, and how can it be controlled? These are the main parts of the question: environmental pollution, causes, effects, and how can it be controlled? So I'm going to give you guys 30 seconds, just 30 seconds. I want you to write 2 simple ideas in the chat. What could you talk about when it comes to this question? Remember, you haven't got long, 30 seconds to write 2 simple ideas in the chat. I will read some of them out, so start typing. Okay, Mohammed wrote, plant trees, save water. Yeah, simple idea. Great. Plastic, yeah. So Frederic wrote, plastic pollution or greenhouse effect. Okay, greenhouse effect is good. That might be a bit complex to talk about, but plastic pollution is great. Reach, sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name, said poor disposal of solid waste, noise pollution as well, air pollution caused by cars. Yeah, great. These are really good ideas. Simple ideas, things you can think of very quickly and probably speak about for 90 seconds, right? My daughter, she's 6. And she does this in her school too. Obviously, they talk about environment a lot. And she comes home and she talks about these simple ideas. And that's the same kind of thing you want to do for this Duolingo test. Do not overthink it. Just think of very simple ideas. Okay, so here are mine. I just got very easy ones. So environmental pollution, some of the causes. We have littering. What's the effect? Dirty streets. A cause of environmental pollution is car fumes. What's the effect? Air pollution. Plastic use, and the effect is harm to animals or plants. Dumping sewage, then it can be, the effect is oceans or river pollutions, which is happening in my country, and it really annoys me because I like going in the sea. So are these complicated ideas for us to talk about? Probably not, right? And for the last part of the question, how can it be controlled? Easy. Promote recycling, encourage people to walk or ride a bike. Government should make factories cleaner, educate people on how to prevent pollution. Again, all of these ideas are simple. And the reason I'm going over these ideas with you is I want to emphasize just how important it is to think of easy ideas on this exam and speak about them longer. It's much better to do that than think of a difficult idea. Oops. Oops, daisy. Okay, let's try this one again. So for this question type, again, I want you to think of 2 ideas and write it in the chat. Talk about the quality of education in your local schools. What improvements are needed and how can they be achieved? Write 2 ideas in the chat. Okay, Praka wrote education system, school management. Hussein said poor books, so improve the books. Ahmed wrote the quality's bad because it's old. What do you mean? School's old or the education system's old? Okay, access to free technology. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, include technology in the local schools. Yeah, I think lots of people are doing technology and equipment. Yeah, exactly. So that okay, you can pick that idea, low technology, as your main idea, and speak about that. Easy topic, easy, very easy, simple idea. Okay. Okay, so here are my ideas. Actually, very similar. So the first one is technology. There must be a common theme around the world for public education. There's just a lack of technology. Yeah, so we can make smaller class sizes. We can have a more modern curriculum. Teachers can have better teacher training, better extracurricular, which is like additional activities in schools. All of, these are, again, simple ideas. So I think everyone here can think of these ideas super quick when they're taking the test and probably speak about them a lot because you have your own personal experiences. Maybe your class size in your school was too big, or maybe you had no computers in your school, or the curriculum was teaching you outdated skills, this type of thing. Okay, your homework. I'm not going to do this with you now, but we have 3 questions here, and I just want you to go through each of these points and write out as many simple ideas as you can. Time yourself. Try to do it within 30 seconds. Just write out all the ideas you can think of and do it quickly. For extra homework, you should do the same for other questions. So you can find lots of questions on the Duolingo Test website. My website has lots of questions as well. Really get used to thinking of ideas quickly for this style of question. You can do your homework, write yes in the chat if you are. Thank you. Okay, everyone's going to do it. Yeah, honestly, it's kind of just like mental preparation. So far, we've done 2 things: how to listen to key ideas, mental preparation. Do it over and over again, just listening, try to understand the topic. Second part for ideas, simple ideas, but just practice and practice and practice simple ideas. Okay. All right. Now let's move on to part 3, which is speaking for longer, which I think is going to be really helpful for a lot of you. You have to speak for a minimum of 30 seconds. Oh, Angela, you don't have to submit it. Just do it yourself. Just thinking of ideas is kind of like preparation homework for yourself. Anyway, so you have to speak for a minimum of 30 seconds, but the max you can speak for is 90 seconds for this question type. And to get a good score, you should be speaking for close to 90 seconds continuously. The Duolingo guidebook was updated a few months ago, but the older version of the guidebook actually said that fluency is marked based on how long you can speak for. So speaking for as long as you can is very important. For the IELTS test, I used to teach the IELTS at a university, and I know from talking to lots of IELTS examiners that the IELTS test, they want you to speak for 2 minutes. If you're not able to speak for 2 minutes, then they also consider that a bit of a lack of fluency. So you need to speak for 90 seconds to get a higher score. It's not that easy, but also not that difficult if you have a framework in mind of what you're going to do when you're speaking these answers. That makes it a lot easier. So there are a couple tricks, strategies that teachers use. I see some people in the chat already writing this. You might have seen my YouTube videos. The most common kind of strategy for speaking for longer is called the PPF method. If you know what this stands for, write it in the chat. So I can tell you've seen my old YouTube videos. What does PPF stand for? Yeah, everyone's writing past, present, and future. Yeah, or present, past, future, yeah, whatever. But PPF, past, present, and future. I see Angel saying, what do you know if you do not know much about the topic? The PPF method will help you a lot with that. Okay, so it starts for present, past, future, past, present, future, whatever. And this is a framework of thinking about one idea. So Angel, you said that if you only have one idea, or if you don't know many things about a topic, how can you speak for longer? So this one is using one simple idea and then elaborating on it and speaking about it in 3 different settings: present, past, and future. Now, what this does, if you've seen my videos, you've seen me explain this. This is important because it allows you to speak for longer, but also allows you to speak about the same topic using different grammatical tenses: present tenses, past tenses, and future tenses. And on all of the English exams, grammar is a very high, high scoring criterion. And it's not just correct grammar, but your wide range of grammar, which means, are you using lots of grammatical tenses, or are you just using the same simple ones over and over again? So just by talking about a topic in the past, present, and future, you are using different grammatical tenses, which is, of course, a bonus. All right, I'm just going to give you an example. So again, same question. Talk about environmental pollution in the place where you live. Firstly, I'm just going to introduce the topic, okay, with my one simple idea, which is littering. So littering is a big cause of environmental pollution where I live, and it's something I notice a lot in my city. Okay, that's just a simple topic introduction. Then I'll talk about it in the present, because this topic asks me, firstly, in the present, talk about it in the place where you live, currently, not in the past. So start off with the present. Nowadays, it seems like people have a habit of littering quite a bit, and unfortunately, this really contributes to more waste piling up and adds to environmental pollution. Because of this, you'll often see the streets scattered with trash, which makes the whole place look messy and not so appealing. It's kind of sad because it doesn't take much to just throw things in a bin. The more litter there is, the worse the area looks, and it just creates this unpleasant vibe all around. Okay, so I've answered the question. Not the controlled bit, but I've answered the question. This is probably only about 20 seconds long. So, a good answer. I've answered it, but not long enough. So for me now, I'm thinking I have 2 options. I can either talk about a different idea. I can also say, river pollution is also a problem in my town, blah, blah, blah. Or I can continue talking about this idea in a different tense. So the past. When I was younger, a signal, transition signal. When I was younger, people seemed to care more about keeping our city clean. There wasn't as much litter on the streets, and people made an effort to throw their trash in bins. Over time, though, that sense of responsibility has faded. Now there's a lot more litter and feels like people don't care as much about their surroundings anymore. It's a big change from how things used to be. Okay, past done. And now I may as well talk about the future as well. I hope that, again, a signal, future, I hope that the government steps in soon with stricter laws to stop littering. Stronger rules and bigger fines might make people think twice before throwing trash on the streets. With stricter laws, we could start to see cleaner streets and less pollution. Okay, so what this has done, this PPF approach, is I've taken my really simple idea of littering, the simplest idea probably when it comes to environmental pollution, and I've talked about it in the past, present, and future. And my answer is now probably a minute, 10 seconds. So I'm very close now to 90 seconds. And I've used lots of grammatical tenses and lots of vocabulary. So my answer is looking really solid, really good. I will answer some questions quickly before we talk about another technique. Angel wrote, so sir, you also talked about using personal story. Yes, that's another tip I'll tell you later. So just a quick in the chat, what do you think about this PPF approach? Is this something you could use in your speak and answers easily? Write yes or no to let me know. Okay, everyone's writing yes. So, yeah. Yeah. Okay, so just so I'm very clear, you do not need to do this. It's just a way of speaking for longer if you are struggling with ideas. You do not need to do it. It's not essential. But why not use it? It's not that difficult, and you can speak for longer, lose lots of grammar, and it answers the question. You're doing the speaking task really well. Ahmed wrote, I can't tell details like you. Well, yeah, I've practiced a lot. I'm also a teacher, so for me it's a bit easier, of course. And my native language is English, so of course. But practice, and this will help you a lot. Angel wrote, does this work for both speaking and writing? Maybe writing. Writing is a little bit different. It's a bit more formal. So I would say definitely for speaking. I'm going to say perhaps for writing for some questions. All right, so earlier I highlighted phrases nowadays, when I was younger, I hope that, and soon. So when you're doing this approach, when you move from one present to past or past to future, then you should use some kind of transition phrase to make your answer smooth. So here are a bunch of phrases you can use to signal to the Duolingo AI/examiner, there's two apparently, that you are now talking about the past, you're now talking about the present, and you're now talking about the future. Someone in the chat wrote, must I use this? No, you don't have to use this. It's just a technique you can think about if you are running out of ideas or you have nothing to say. Again, this is not something you need to do. It is just an idea. And Uni said, can I use this in all my speaking questions? Well, I think that's what she means. The answer is yes. Why not? Why not? Okay. Another simple technique for speaking for longer or developing your answer further is to tell a personal story related to the topic. Everything needs to be related to the topic, remember. So again, we have environmental pollution. Okay. So I've done the PPF, or maybe I just talked about the present and past, not the future. It's flexible. It's just a framework, an approach to use. And after I've done that, I can then tell a personal story, something related to you about the topic. And that's totally fine to do. Actually, it's encouraged because it's a narrative and it's personal, and you're going to probably talk easier about a story that happened to you rather than thinking of new ideas. So again, this is my story. After PPF, I will say, I actually have a personal memory related to this. I remember when I was younger, maybe 6 or 7 years old, I threw an empty water bottle out of my dad's car window. And my dad saw me and he was absolutely furious and just expressed how disappointed he was in me. I remember feeling really ashamed at that moment, and it made me realize the importance of keeping my city clean. And since then, I've been much more conscious about not littering. Okay, personal story is a really simple technique, especially when the topics are, like environmental pollution and your idea is littering. We all have experienced littering, so we can tell a personal story about that. That's another way to expand your answer, develop, and speak for longer. Again, do not need to do this. It's just an idea to help you to speak for as long as you can, ideally be 90 seconds. When you tell a personal story, you should also signal using a transition phrase that you're now about to tell a story. Otherwise, it gets very confusing. So here are a bunch that you can use. I'll just read two. This reminds me of a time when I actually have a similar experience that happened to me. You can expand your answer with a story, use a transition phrase like this. Don't have to use these ones, but it's just some examples to introduce your story. Ahmed wrote, can we use both together, PPF and story? Yeah, absolutely. Again, for the speaking questions, speaking for longer about the topic is the most important thing. Okay, homework. Again, more homework for you. You can check this yourself. Okay, so I'm going to upload a file to VIP underneath the lesson. You can find it. If you can't find it, just email me. I'll email it to you. It will have lots of different speaking questions. Some read then speak, some listen then speak, and some speak in sample. I want you to record your answer, okay? Speaking for at least 90 seconds using the PPF and personal story approach to speak for longer if you need to. And I want you to use Chat GPT to get feedback. It'll give you feedback for free. And I tell you as a teacher, I'll tell you, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. So this is the prompt you need to use. When you go on the Chat GPT, you have to use your phone. So get the app and you'll see on the phone a microphone. Press down the microphone, speak out this prompt. So read it. Like, I'm going to give you a speaking answer for an English proficiency exam as an ESL learner. Please grade my speaking based on the CEFR rating scale. Okay. And then after you've given the prompt, you speak out your answer and it will give you a really good feedback. Honestly, really good. It'll give you feedback using the CEFR rating scale, which is how teachers and kind of authorities measure language abilities. And actually on the Duolingo test official guide, you'll see here. So B2, for example, is 100 to 125. C1, 130, 150. That's the DET score. So use those questions, practice them a lot, thinking of ideas, speaking out answers, recording yourself using Chat GPT and other AIs, using that prompt. And that would be really good homework you could do for self-study. And that is the end of this lesson. So it's been an hour. I will answer questions for 10 minutes. If you have any questions, please let me know. Also, if you want to join DET Ready VIP, go ahead and join. You can take my courses, take a lesson with me on Friday about describing a photo. And next week as well, a bunch of lessons. Starting from November, we'll be just focusing on production score, really thinking about grammar and vocabulary, anything to increase your production score. So if you want to join that, yeah. Okay. So any questions, guys? I will turn off the screen sharing so I can see you easier. Okay. And really, thanks for everyone for joining. We've got 62 people. That's great. Okay, so I'm going to go through some questions for 10 minutes and then I'm going to go have lunch because I'm hungry. Okay, oh, lots of questions. Okay. If I don't answer them, don't be offended. There's so many. And I will do my best though. Okay. All right. So lots of thank yous. By the way, thank you too for joining. Everyone who said thank you to me. I'm new to doing these live webinars, so I will get better. But yeah. Parker says, "Can I see the prompt again?" I'm gonna upload the whole PDF to the VIP free part. You can download it from there. You can see the whole PDF. It's an interactive PDF, so you can click on certain buttons, and then you can get the listening files, for example, and you can see the prompt. Mohammed said, "Can I use a personal story for the past part of the answer?" Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's just the PPF method and the kind of personal story approach is it's just about a mindset. Thinking of, okay, how am I even going to answer these questions? How am I going to speak for so long about a topic that's just given to me? No preparation time, right? It's not easy. So it just allows you to think of different ways of speaking for longer. Hussein said, "Is it okay to mention that you didn't get the whole idea?" Sure. You can say at the start of the speaking lesson, the speaking answer, something like this. "I didn't understand every part of the question, but I got the topic, which was about environmental pollution. So I'm going to talk about environmental pollution in general. Littering is a big problem in my city, blah, 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 blah." Yeah, that's fine. Who else? So Ragdad said, "Can I," by the way, if I'm pronouncing everyone's names wrong, I'm so sorry. Raghad said, "Thanks, teacher, but could you please give another webinar to evaluate our speaking?" Yeah, I'm going to give free webinars like this once a month. I'll let everyone know via email. And to evaluate your speaking, I recommend, like I said, use ChatGPT because it's good. And it's not so different than the feedback I would give you. The only difference is it doesn't tell you about the topic relevance. Like, is your answer related to the topic? But I think you can do that yourself. You would know that if you take your time and reflect on your answer. But the grammar and vocabulary feedback is better than me. So just use that. I'm gonna say, "Where will I find the file?" I'm gonna upload it to VIP. You can find the PDF. I'll do it as soon as this lesson's finished. Lots of thank yous there. Thank you. How can I become a VIP? You can click on, I'm sorry, click on join on vip.detready.com and become a VIP. I'll do a lesson this Friday on speaking. Sorry, on writing about a photo, and then next week more on speaking. Maria said, "I want to take the test in 10 days. Some tips." 10 days, not long. Practice questions just to get used to the format, get used to thinking quickly because a Duolingo test is fast. Take lots and lots of practice questions covering all different types. There are 14 question types on the Duolingo test. Every day, every single day, practice, practice, practice. The Duolingo English Test has a free practice section. Use that. That's very reliable. My website also has it. It's not free, unfortunately, because it costs so much money to do. But you can try that too. There's a free version. But the Duolingo test free stuff is fine. Is VIP free? No, sorry, it's not. Teacher, I'm confused when writing about a photo. Well, I'm doing a lesson this Friday. If you want to join that, it's in the VIP. But just a quick summary. You have to, for write about a photo, you have 1 minute to write an answer, and you need to write at least one full sentence. That's the requirement. However, you should try to write 2 or 3. So you need to think about the topic in general, different actions people are doing in the photo, describing the location, that type of stuff. I have made lots of videos about that too. Uni says, how can I join the course? You can join. So go on to vip.detready.com and click join. Yeah, you can join that way. If you click on what is VIP on the bar, you'll see that. Mohammed says, teacher, which day Q&A Duolingo organize every week? Not sure what you mean exactly. If for my lessons, yeah, they'll be at least twice a week, at least maybe sometimes 3 times. 2 lessons, 1 Q&A. That's kind of my approach. VIP is very new, so I'm still figuring out what's best, but definitely 2 lessons like this a week. And then also you get access to all of my courses immediately. So you can study by yourself, then take lessons with me. Thanks. Everyone says thank you. Thank you too, guys. The PDF is free. Yeah, I will upload the PDF to this lesson to VIP and then the free part. Typing speed's a problem. Again, practice. There's a really good website called 10 Fast Fingers. It's like a English typing practice website. It's not mine, but it's free and it's really good to use. So just practice typing English words, write sentences, single words, just really gotta get used to it. Speed is important for the Duolingo test. And so, yeah. So lots of questions about VIP. Yeah, you can join, like I said, by going to vip.detready.com, and then there'll be a join button somewhere on the website. If you can click on what is VIP, you'll see how to join there. Yeah, join if you want to. You don't have to. I will do free stuff. I always do free stuff on YouTube and stuff like this as well. So, yeah. What else? Someone said I want to pass the TOEFL test. Not my thing, sorry. I don't know much about TOEFL. I was an IELTS teacher, so I know a lot about the IELTS test and the Duolingo test. I don't know much about TOEFL. Uni says, if you don't mind for the next webinar, please take so long. What do you mean? Make a longer webinar? I can do that if you want to. And Angel said, teacher, please, can I use a made-up story? Yeah, absolutely. It's a speaking test. It's not a knowledge test. You can make things up. Totally fine. Nabi said, is there a question bank for Duolingo? Yeah, there is. Nabi, if you go to practice.detready.com, then you can find my question bank. I have 7,000 questions which I have written, and I know the Duolingo test very well, very, very well. I've been teaching this for a long time now, so that's useful. Uni says, make the webinar longer. I'll try. Thank you. Isabel said, how similar is the IELTS and DET in my point of view? The speaking part is quite similar in my point of view. The speaking part's very similar, especially part 2 for IELTS speaking. That is very similar to listen, then speak, read, then speak, and the speaking sample. The only difference is part 1 and part 3 for IELTS is much more of conversation with someone, whereas the Duolingo is much more you doing a monologue to the computer. So in that regard, it's different, but the style of answer is very similar. Writing is also similar, but in the sense that the style you should write is the same. However, for IELTS, you have 40 minutes and need to write an essay. For Duolingo, you have 5 minutes max, so you just write a paragraph. But the style is the same. Academic, formal, following coherence. Yes. What's easier, IELTS or Duolingo? That depends on you. I think most people find the Duolingo test easier. Because I'll tell you why. Because you can do it at home in a very comfortable environment, and the questions are shorter. They don't require you to write a long essay, so shorter questions. So a lot of people find that easier. But some people who maybe like to think more and are not very good at reacting quickly, they might find Duolingo tests more difficult because the Duolingo test, the questions are very short. The time limit is very short. Uni says, if I get question about how to give responses about prompts, what effective way? I'm not sure what you mean exactly. Can you try to rephrase your question, please? Okay, I'm going to answer 5 more questions. I need to go and have some lunch. Ada Essay, I'm so sorry if I pronounced it wrong, said, thanks, Teacher Luke. How can I improve my thinking ability on the test? And what can I do to improve my thinking? Task relevance with the question asked. Yeah, that's a good question. Okay. Preparation is important. So I'm going to upload a PDF with, I think, 20 different speaking questions. So you should try to practice thinking of ideas with those questions every single day, right? Thinking of new ideas quickly. Time yourself. 30 seconds. Can I think of 3 ideas quickly? Because when it comes to test day, you'll be better prepared, less panicked, and you kind of know what to expect. Preparation is always key. Even if a native speaker took the Duolingo test with 0 preparation, the native speaker would also have a hard time thinking, like, how do I even answer this type of question? Because they have no preparation. So definitely take your time and look at lots of sample questions. Think out 2 or 3 ideas for each question very quickly. Sarah said, what's the difference between DET and VIP? I want to join the webinars every week. Oh, that's great. Then, so I've changed my website a little bit. So I used to have courses, but what I've done is moved them over to VIP. So VIP now has all my courses plus my live lessons, which like this a few times a week. So my courses are moved basically. If you paid for my courses already, let me know by email and I'll help you out. My other thing is DET Ready Practice, which is a practice platform with just a question bank with lots and lots of questions. So that's a bit different. We are almost ready with AI in that. It's taken a very long time because AI is not that reliable, but I think we're ready to introduce AI into that, and that will be free. Not free, but like not additional cost. Okay, I'm gonna go. Thanks again, everyone. I enjoyed this, and I will be doing another free one in a month. I will be doing just write about a photo on Friday. If you want to join that, become a VIP member. If you don't want to, then I will keep making lots of free stuff on YouTube and other things. My email, hello@detready.com. Me and one of my team members will answer you. Yeah. Okay, guys. Okay, thank you so much, everyone. It was a pleasure. And I will see you all very soon. I'm going to upload the files immediately, so check that under the free section of VIP for the PDF I use in the lesson and also the sample questions. Okay, thanks, guys. See ya.